Hello and welcome to German Lessons with Mr. Ferguson. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Deutschunterricht mit Herrn Ferguson. Diese 12. grammatische Stunde, the 12th grammar lesson, ist Relativsätze mit dem Nominativ. Relative clauses with the nominative case. Teil 1, Part 1. This lesson is designed to assist with the understanding of the more complex aspects of German grammar and is suitable for students studying for GCSE or A-level in the UK, or students of an equivalent level. In terms of CEFR language learning levels, this is approximately A1 level. In this 4-part series, we will look at what are called relative clauses. These are parts of a sentence used alongside the main clause or Hauptsatz, which give more information about a noun or a general idea. I actually used one right then. These are parts of a sentence which give more information. In English, we often see relative clauses with one of the following 3 words. Who, for example, the man who owns that house. Which, the car which was just bought. And that. There are lots of things that you need to know. We can also use prepositions with relative clauses, though these will be discussed in the next few lessons. In order to form a relative clause in German, there are 2 things you'll need to understand. The first is that all nouns have a gender. In German, the singular nouns can be masculine, feminine, or neuter, and we can consider plural nouns to have their own gender. If you need to recap how to guess what gender a noun is, please go back and watch my Genders of Nouns video by clicking here. The second thing you will need to understand is that relative clauses will include subordination. Another way to say this is that the word meaning who, which, or that will be a boot word. If you aren't sure what this means, or need a refresher on this, please click here to view my boot word or subordination video. To form a relative clause, you first need a noun which will be part of the statement. Let's go with, this is my brother. Das ist mein Bruder. In order to give more information about my brother, for example his name or his age, I first need to think what this would be in English. So let's try, he's called John. Heißt John. These 2 sentences alone are perfectly accurate and can stay as 2 sentences, but what we're trying to do here is link them with who, which, or that. So in this case, we want to say, this is my brother, who is called John. When forming a relative clause, the word who, which, or that is simply one of the definite articles in German. Der, if the thing you're giving more information about is masculine. Die, if the thing is feminine. Das, if it's neuter. Or die, if the things are plural. As we're giving more information about my brother here, we will use der, because Bruder is masculine. And this der will become a boot word, which sends the verb to the end. So we currently have Das ist mein Bruder, der, heißt John, which literally translates as this is my brother who, he is called John. As you can see, we no longer need the word so we can think of the der, die, das, or die, which is called the relative pronoun, das Relativpronomen, as replacing the subject of the second sentence. This is why these relative clauses are used with the nominative case, because they replace a subject, which is always nominative. So our completed sentence is, Das ist mein Bruder, der John heißt. This is my brother who is called John. If I wanted to give 2 bits of information about my brother using 2 different verbs, I would boot both verbs to the end of their respective clauses. For example, this is my brother, who is called John and is 12 years old. Das ist mein Bruder, der John heißt und 12 Jahre alt ist. Let's take a look at some other examples in other genders. Ich habe eine Hose, die blau ist. I have a pair of trousers, which is blue. We use die here because eine Hose, a pair of trousers, is feminine. Mein Vater hat ein neues Auto gekauft, das teuer war. My father bought a new car, which was expensive. We use das here as we're describing the car that my father bought, das Auto, which is neuter. Ich wohne mit meinen Eltern, die ein großes Haus haben. I live with my parents, who have a big house. As meine Eltern, shown here in the dative case as meinen Eltern because of mit, are plural, we use die and a plural verb, haben. Notice how it doesn't matter that meinen Eltern was dative in the first place, because the word die, who, is the new subject of the relative clause, so it will be nominative. The final thing worth mentioning regarding relative clauses with the nominative case is that we can use the relative pronoun was, which normally means what, but here can mean which when we want to describe a whole concept. Let's look at an example. I'm now learning German, which is exciting. Here, it's not German which is exciting, but the fact that this person has decided to learn it. In German, this would be Ich lerne jetzt Deutsch, was spannend ist. We can also use the relative pronoun wo to mean where. For example, das Zimmer, wo man schläft, heißt das Schlafzimmer. The room where you sleep is called the bedroom. In München, wo es viele Leute gibt, gibt es auch viele Parks. In Munich, where there are lots of people, there are also lots of parks. So, that's how to use relative clauses with the nominative case. It's a good idea to pause the video now to remind yourself of how to use the definite articles, der, die, das and die, as a boot word to give more information about a noun, as well as the pronouns was to describe a concept and wo to explain where something happens. Relative pronouns can be used in all four cases, so part 2 of this series will look at using them in the accusative case, so please watch that video after this one. Habe ich etwas vergessen? If you're a native German speaker and think I've forgotten something important about relative clauses with the nominative case, please let me know in the comments. Bitte schreibt einen Kommentar. Also, please don't forget to click subscribe to receive all of my German lesson videos, language learning tips and updates. To move on to the second part of this lesson about relative clauses with the accusative case, please click the thumbnail in the video. Otherwise, from me, it's Danke und auf Wiedersehen.